Welcome to Built with Purpose. I am Chris Fay, and this is the show where vision meets execution and leadership leaves a legacy. From design studios to innovation hubs and product lines to skylines, we meet the people building more than great companies. They're creating culture, driving impact, and shaping what's next. These are the stories and strategies behind how the world gets built with purpose. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Built with Purpose. Today is Between the Builds. And look, in true podcast style, I feel like I've been too preppy. I feel like I've had collared shirts on. I feel like I've had sweaters on. I've been in the formal podcast studio. And today, the last episode of the year, I figured I would shake things up a little bit, and you're getting casual Chris Fay. All right. So I got the hoodie on, I got the backwards hat on. And so you're getting a little bit of a glimpse into what my life looks like when I am not at work or not recording podcasts. Relatively casual. My favorite outfit, I believe, is I would prefer to wear jeans, probably a pair of like Nike Dunks, a t-shirt that my wife probably tells me is always too tight, and a hat. Like that is like my favorite outfit. So I hope you'll bear with me today. So it is the last episode of the year. Last week's episode we had was with Wes Palmisano with Renegade Construction. Our Between the Builds episode right now is the last one that we'll record for 2025. And it's amazing to think about that we are already done with kind of the Christmas holiday season, and now getting ready to celebrate New Year's and roll into 2026. We are in the midst of doing a tremendous amount of business planning right now. We're working on some acquisitions internally and really kind of thinking about exponential growth for our business going into next year. And I hope you all are thinking about the same thing. So, typically in traditional fashion with Between the Builds, we reflect back on our guest last week and talk a little bit about where we're going. And so I wanted to do the same thing today. Wes is a buddy of mine. I met him about a year ago. We do some business together, but also just friends and peers in the industry. And, it is absolutely amazing what Wes has accomplished. And it's so awesome. A lot of the themes that we have covered in Between the Builds, Wes lives that inside of Renegade. They talked about kind of this renegade mentality. What I didn't know about Wes's business is they actually renamed the company to Renegade Construction from the previous name of the business because everybody in the industry kept calling them renegades. Those renegades, they were attacking a problem in a different way. They were bringing in new ideas and new innovation to the construction industry. Everybody kept calling them renegades, their competitors, and they said, "Well, hell, let's go ahead and just rebrand the company." So I thought that was a really cool story that we learned from Wes that day. But I think the biggest takeaway that I had was how intentional they are about their culture and documenting their culture. We've talked about this in multiple episodes that if you want to build a great company, you have to be very intentional about surrounding yourself with really great people. And you have to surround yourself with really great leaders. And you have to define your culture and not only be able to speak it, but also be able to document it. So anybody that comes into your business or inside of your organization or inside of your team should be able to see a document that actually describes what it's like to be a part of your organization's culture. And so Wes actually did that inside of their business. They actually published a book. So they have a book that talks about the renegade, mentality and their way and how they define their culture. It's part of an onboarding and development path that they have for their organization and their people. And I thought it was beautiful. Some of the other things that I remember thinking back from Wes is that, 80 to 85% of their new roles, so new leaders, new people, are actually promotions from within. Right. And we've talked about this in the past about the value of giving your people the opportunity to grow and succeed inside of your ecosystem. Right. It's very disruptive. It's very costly to have turnover. It's expensive to hire people in and to train them and to develop them. It's expensive to have people leave the business because they leave with knowledge, they leave with a void in the business, and you have to spend money to replace them. So one of the best ways that you can grow your business is to figure out a way to use a funnel of people inside of your company to continue to grow and develop. Now, what do you have to have in place in order to grow and develop people inside of your business? Well, you have to have a framework of how people are going to grow and develop, right? You have to have a vision of where you're going. People need to see the opportunity to grow and scale. And then you also need to be in a position to give them that autonomy to grow and lead and run whatever it is that they do inside of their business. And Wes actually nailed that. He hit that. His business is run by teams. It's not Wes, the CEO, sitting at the top, or his president or the CFO. There are basically these micro teams inside of his business that enables him to run the various aspects of what they do. And they have a construction division. They're in development. They've got manufacturing. They've got civil. They've got all sorts of different businesses. And the way that it is run is by giving power to your teams, enabling them to step up and grow, and then to give them a vision of where the company is going to go, and also a framework of how they can get there. And so it was just really awesome to see how Wes was able to create that environment inside of his business. I've worked with a number of people inside of his company, and I've really seen that. And so it's funny, the timing is actually right inside of our business with what we're trying to accomplish, is how we've painted this vision for the future. There's an opportunity for us in 2026 to almost double the size of our company, both in revenue and headcount. And we're working on doing that for a number of reasons. We want to serve our market better. We want to do it. We want to be a better company that can better serve and attack the marketplace. We also want to give opportunities to those people internally to grow, right? Like, really good people want to grow, and they want to find an environment, an organization that will enable them to grow. And we need to provide the framework that will help them do that. So in this hyper competitive market, how do you recruit and retain the best people? Well, you bring them into an amazing culture. You give them an opportunity to grow. They see where the company can move, right? And then you enable them and empower them to go take those next steps. So that's kind of what we've been thinking about inside of our business. And so it was a great echoing to Wes. The other thing I just kind of want to think about with Between the Builds is where we're going next year. We launched this podcast in the fall. We've gotten some awesome feedback from you all, and thank you all for listening. I mean, thank you for participating in this conversation. I told you when we started this podcast, I didn't have any desire or plan to monetize it. I don't have sponsorships. I was just having these really awesome conversations with super impactful leaders that were building with purposeful intent. They were doing things in the industry that were actually changing the way that the industry was being executed. They were changing the way that companies were being led. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, all these conversations, I have to figure out a way to record these and to share these things with others, because the stories are too good not to expose to both your teams and mine. So in 2026, as I kind of look ahead, we've got some pretty awesome conversations coming around the corner. We're going to be expanding a little bit. There's a lot happening in the technology. So I really want to make sure that we're having a lot of conversations around technology and AI and how those things are influencing and potentially changing our businesses and the way the workplace is being run in general. I want to continue to really lean into culture and culture from a variety of different businesses, big ones and small ones. And then I also want to just address, as a leader, some of the challenges that we all face as in leaders. One of the things they say is it's lonely at the top. And it is. It's tough to be at the top of an organization without having a good resource network to go to learn from. And so I want to dive into some of the issues that we're all facing as leaders that oftentimes we don't have somebody to talk to. The stress, the anxiety, the sleepless nights. Where do I go for help? How do I communicate to my team better? How do I challenge myself to think differently? How do I take the next step in my leadership? So I want to attack some of those conversations next year as it relates to just the personal aspect of being a leader. It's one of the most amazing opportunities that we have, but it does not come without its challenges. And we have to be very open about those challenges to attack them in order for us to grow. So I already have a number of guests already on the docket. I think you'd be really excited. I would love to hear from you. If you have ideas or thoughts or things that you'd love to share about the show, about potential guests that you'd like to see us, or conversations that you'd like to have us please send that in. Connect with us on LinkedIn, connect with us on our website, and submit something. But with that, I really hope, as you all go through this holiday season, one of the things that I hope for you all as a closing remark, we all have a lot going on in our lives, and only God knows how long we all have on this planet. And so it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we are using every day to maximize the potential of our lives and to make sure that we are truly, truly aware of what is most important in our lives. So whether you've documented that as an individual purpose statement or as a family vision statement or a statement just that you have for your life, what is most important to you? And are you spending enough time doing the most important things to support where you want to go in your life? And I hope this holiday season you have a chance to reflect back on that. It's easy for us to develop business plans and vision statements for our company. How often do we develop business plans and mission statements for our lives and for our family? And maybe during this holiday season, you take a step back to not only think about the business aspect of your life, but also the personal and family aspect for your life. And to think about documenting a plan and documenting a vision for where you want to take your life. And in 2026, what's the one thing? We talked about that book. What's the one thing that you would like to see done differently or to enhance or to do better or to grow in your life? And I would challenge you to write that down and post it on your refrigerator, your computer, wherever it is that you're going to see it, and keep that front and center. And I also hope that you really enjoy some time with your friends and family. The people that we surround ourselves with are really who define us. They are. And I hope you have a chance to just spend some good quality time with the people that you care about most and also the ones that care about you. And I'm looking forward to talking to you all in 2026. Thank you for allowing me to be a little bit casual on this last episode of Between the Builds with Built with Purpose. Hope you all have an amazing holiday, an amazing new year, and I'm looking forward to building with purpose into 2026. Y'all have a great day. Okay, thanks for joining me on Built with Purpose. If you have enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, share, and leave us a review. It helps more bold leaders find the show. For resources and show notes, visit our website and connect with me, Chris Fay, on LinkedIn. Until next time, keep building great companies, cultures, and legacies with purpose.